dialogue or anything between you and K-Dot during this entire?
Not direct, but Soul did tell me that, he salute and he loved what I was doing and all that. Soul told me that when he ran into Kendrick at the show. Dot told him to tell me that.
That's dope.
So yeah, it's like I said, like it's love, and it's always been love, and yeah, we're showing people that this is how it's done.
Yeah,
and that's why I think him and Dot will eventually clash. They will go at it. Dot may take the angle. This is what I'm predicting of some subs, maybe, right? But I think he's also going to do that after he gets off tour and a little further away from Joey's album release, because that's what I would do. Remember, I told you guys in my Rap Corner Man video, you got to be strategic going into war. Do you want to win, or do you just care about what people say about you? Pick one. But anyway, shout out to Joey Badass. That's the clickbait stuff. Let's get into this interview he did with Bootleg Kev. And lately, y'all know I've been riding for Joey because, first and foremost, I think he's representing the East Coast well. And I think I'm starting to understand his disposition as an artist. Joey talked about that in the interview about, how he came up younger and kind of feel like he's having almost like a second type of prime, dealing with survivor's guilt. It was a really candid interview, and I appreciate him for doing this. Shout out to Bootleg Kev. If you see this video, I saw your comment where you said the visuals and the audio was a headache. I know, maybe I don't know on your level as a creator, we still appreciate you going through with this and putting it out because it was stuff I enjoyed. So let's get into it. If you have watched this whole video, this whole interview, I'm doing one straight video. I'm not clipping this up. So number one thing I really liked was when he talked about how that Red Bull freestyle came together. It was Absol's idea. I enjoyed that because he kept it a bean. We have conversations about freestyle, free verse, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, Soul's idea was, let's treat it like a competition, almost like a battle. They picked the third person, of Big Sean, who I think till today, Sean catches flack. But I think Sean has this thing where he just works as the third person, right? Not too polarizing, but an MC that people respect. And apparently, they recorded it as a track. Okay, you'll see the interview, kind of mastered it and then performed it. But Joey said he knew guys with TDE would hear it. And speaking of TDE, I've told you, Ray Vaughn, that plaque line, Ray Vaughn and this, you ain't got no plaques, that shit kept frustrating me. A lot of you TDE fans, you're like, oh, how many plaques does Joey have then? Joey Badass touched on that in the interview and was like, yo, when I was hearing Ray Vaughn say I ain't got no plaques, how dare him? But I was thinking to myself, should I rebuttal this? If I rebuttal this non-fact, he's going to think it actually bothers me. Smart move. And this is exactly why I want to see Joey go up against someone like Kendrick. Because I think Joey understands the art of war. Anyway, the next thing. Then he also talked about the TDE stuff. I thought that was interesting. And this is what I mean also again and why I love Joey's disposition. I love him kind of showing and talking about competition in hip hop and how it can be healthy. I think one of the healthy ways in competition to be healthy in hip hop is we can go track for track, right? Or we can go on the same track. See who raps better. I love that. Now, when we get into the balance stuff, I think it can easily spill into personals. Joey showed that he didn't let those guys rattle him with the personal. He kept his gloves on. I've talked about that a lot. But he said, yo, when I did the TDE stint, I talked to Top. And Top was like, yeah, I understand it's coming from. They chopped it up. It's all love. I think it helps because Joey does have a history with the West Coast guys over there at TDE. So I think Joey doing that was like, you know what I'm saying? It might cross the line because I'm playing with your brand, but it's entertaining. And speaking of the history of TDE in the West Coast, Joey pointed out to something that I also thoroughly found interesting. When he said, yo, when I first started this whole thing, forget Dot, forget everybody. When I said too much West Coast licking, right? I was referencing Hove, like I told y'all, but I was also thinking like there was a time when I was rapping with these guys and the East Coast was showing more love than the West Coast because people thought they was from the East Coast, the way they was going about things. And I'm like, Joey might have a point, but I will say salute the West Coast guys. They never stopped repping where they are from. Now, Joey got into a few more things that some people may not find that interesting. But for any younger artists, I love this. Number one, he talked about like advances and stuff like that. If a label's offering you 1 million, they're mostly about to make 5 million off of you. Be careful about the offers that you are getting nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. Number two, talked about Nas a lot. He talked about Nas. He kind of sees a little bit of himself in Nas, which I get it. He said Nas is a big homie. He talked about Steez, and he touched on something. When you go watch that interview, you guys, if you watched it already, comment. And he talked about being frozen in time. As somebody has dealt with grief, I think we've all dealt with grief, but closer to him because he talked about Steez being 19, right? And that just spooked me out. He talked about how him at damn near 30 now is still looking up to Steez at that age because he always looked up to Steez at that age and how he's kind of frozen in time. But then it also speaks to Steez's advancement because he was like, damn, how could somebody be so smart and so advanced at that age that even now I still look up to him. I think I can kind of relate to that a little bit. I don't want to make some of y'all cry, so whatever. Let's just keep going. And lastly, another thing that was interesting, there was other stuff in this interview, but this is just stuff that was interesting. He talked about YG's line, Joey Badass gonna hate this. And he was like, yo, I want that played in the club because that's the type of guy I am. Hip hop is a sport. So shout out Joey. I already talked about the ABK shots on there. I think Joey, I'm on another single. And then we're going to be in August. August going to be a competitive month, yo, because y'all know Jid coming out too. He dropped the album cover today. So I'm hoping I can get a single on that. And then, just hip hop shit is fun, man.